Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast on a mission to inspire a world where food makes us better. Guys, today we're going to be counting calories a little bit because no matter what you eat, no matter how many carbs or fats or fiber or protein, whatever it is you are counting, no matter how much whole or not whole that food is, if you're trying to maintain ideal body weight, and especially if you're trying to lose body fat, the amount of energy in your foods, they matter. Now, of course, there are many very unique qualities of foods, and also each of you have different genetics, digestive systems, and metabolism and health state and gender and age, and there are so many things that change the picture of how food is metabolized and how much energy you're gonna get from that food. But there are no magic foods. There are no foods that you can eat in unlimited amounts unless it's celery, really, there are some foods like you can't eat spinach like all day long, just spinach, and not lose weight. Some things, of course, for some foods, it is true that no matter how much you eat, you're not gonna put on weight and you might even lose weight. But for most foods, for normal people's diets, it's not the case. You gotta be caloric aware or understand how energy works in different foods, and you gotta somehow track the amount of foods you eat no matter what. These days when I work with my clients who are trying to lose body fat and get into the best shape of their life learning how to maintain ideal body weight, there is a specific step that I like to focus on, and I like to call it fat management. So a lot of my clients are already switching to whole foods diets, but they're still not losing body fat or having difficulties maintaining ideal body weight. And they usually come to me surprised because I do everything right. I sleep, I exercise, and I eat whole foods, but I'm still not losing body fat. What am I doing wrong? And a lot of times it's just not really measuring in those fat calories. Why fat calories? Because, guys, simple mathematics. One gram of fat has 9 calories. 1 gram of protein or carbohydrate has 4 calories, and plus calories from fat, the body has to spend much less energy on actually getting energy from those fats. So there is such thing as energy loss through digestion, and so for protein and carbohydrates, that number that is lost of energy that your body can make out of those foods, that number is much higher than for fats. Let's say for proteins about 30%, for carbohydrates about 15%, and for fat it's 0 to 5. So from fat, you always absorb more calories, and there are more than twice calories in 1 gram of fat. And a lot of my whole food eating clients, they want to use some healthy oils from time to time, like olive oil and avocado oil or grass-fed butter or ghee. And these fats are totally fine. They are not harming your health. They are good. They are bringing benefits. Somebody pointed out to me, there is vitamin E in it. I mean, you can eat your eye vitamin from other foods, not necessarily from just olive oil and avocado oil and other fats. But the point being is, if you put several spoons of oil in your food every single day, it's going to end up from 500 to 1,000 calories a day. And of course, you're not going to be losing any body fat. It's going to be super hard to create some sort of deficit if you are eating 500 calories in fats. Or maybe you're consuming bulletproof coffee, a few of those a day. Maybe some of that decaf, but if you put in 2 tablespoons of fats, it's gonna end up being 250, 300 calories, and if you do it several times a day, here you go, 1,000 calories surplus. And that might be the way of you losing that body fat. As simple as that. Just, remove that fat from your coffee. And yeah, for a few days, it might not feel that amazing, but then you'll get used to it. Believe it or not, but fat in your coffee is not what makes you feel the most alert. It's actually the caffeine in the coffee more often than not, and other compounds in coffee when it's decaf. So the point being is you want to be caloric aware, and I specifically focus on fat calories. Calories from also whole foods, where most calories come from fats, like your nuts and seeds and your avocados. And if you consume cheese, a lot of most calories come from fat there. And then my clients would ask me, so should I go low fat? I'm like, no, you shouldn't go low fat, but you should eat your fat in foods that have other nutrients too, that are more satiating, like proteins. So for example, most of your fat should probably come from food like eggs or fatty fish or grass-fed beef, or other foods that besides fat have other nutrients like protein that are highly satiating, and the amount of fat, of course, is going to be much, much smaller. Plus those foods, like nuts and seeds and avocados and coconuts and whatever it is you like to have, dark chocolate, they're so easy to overeat. And guys, again, no matter what nutrient, what food, if you eat too much energy from it, it's going to be super hard for you to lose body fat. That's all. And also some foods are very different from one brand to another, from one kind to another. Let's take one of my favorite food groups these days, kefirs and yogurts and skiers, all this fermented dairy product that are super good for our gut, great sources of highly absorbable calcium that a lot of people are deficient in. A lot of people, and by the way, guys, you not gonna know whether you're deficient or not just by going to your general practitioner, taking general tests that they give you. Because calcium is so important, for example, for the body to have in your blood consistently, that the body will take calcium from your bones and put it in your blood if you're not eating enough. So when you do the test is not, plus they usually don't even test for that, for calcium deficiency anyhow, in the proper way. So you're not gonna even be able to understand whether you are deficient in calcium or not. So just make sure that you eat it in your diet. And dairy products are still the best source, the most available absorbable calcium out there. So back to dairy. Let's say if you are buying skyr, that is basically very low fat to zero fat, Icelandic fermented high protein yogurt, low fat. If you're buying it without added sugars, that of course I highly recommend, it's gonna have about 50 calories per 100 grams, or for 3.5 ounces, right? But then if we start looking at other yogurts and kefirs, I prefer somewhere like low to medium fat, because fat, it's still good fat. It actually is important, it's essential, it helps you to stay leaner. It's fat is important for many functions in the body, and I'm not suggesting you go fat. I'm just suggesting you to be more aware of fats. So back to yogurts, kefirs, yogurts. Fat varies there from 3 grams on a low side to 5 to 6 on a medium side to 10, 12 to on high fat side. And the calories, guys, will vary from about 55 to 60 for on a low fat side, to about 90 for 5-6 grams of fats per 100 milliliters, or 3.5 ounces, to all the way up to 200, and sometimes even more for a really high fat yogurt that really thick and tastes amazing. But guys, those calories, they add up. So just today, turn around your favorite kefir or yogurt or similar product, and look at the amount of and grams of fat in it. And the higher it is, a lot higher the calories are. But then also don't be caught up in this low fat craze where they add a lot of sugar to the same yogurts. So make sure that there is no added sugar in your yogurt or kefir. And if you want to have it sweeter, just have some fruit with it, or blend some fruit and add it and mix it, just mix it with your spoon. It's gonna make it delicious, and you have fresh, just blended fruit in there with all the fiber and nutrients preserved. So anyhow, look at the label, at the ingredients, make sure there are no added sugars and no weird additives. And then look at the amount of fat. And I usually buy, for most of the days, the yogurts and kefir was like 3.5 grams of fat. I also often buy sheep yogurt with 5.6 grams of fat. I try not to go higher than that, because then calories start really accumulate, and I like to eat like the whole tub of it. And that's where you might get into troubles with calories, right? They accumulate. So look at the no added sugars and look at the amount of fat. Just be aware of that not all yogurts and kefirs are created equal. Some are much fattier than others. Another one of my favorite items that I think you also need to be aware of the calories in it: dark chocolate. I eat 100% dark chocolate. There's no sugar added, nothing added, just cocoa bean made into this, dark chocolate bar. And it's amazing for you, for your brain health and performance, for your heart health, to boost serotonin, for your gut also. It's amazing. But guys, all the more cocoa percentage is in any chocolate bar, the more the calories. Because compared to sugars that are added to other chocolates, or milk, or other, fibers in a healthier chocolate, compared to that, those fat cocoa calories, they do to accumulate. So if you look at a chocolate bar, let's say some healthy chocolate bar where they add some prebiotic fibers and they add healthy sweetener like stevia or monk fruit or erythritol. So we're looking per 100 grams or 3.5 ounces, we're looking at about 280, 300, like maybe 30 calories per bar. And if we look at my 100% bar, that is 590 calories per bar. And it's quite a lot more calories. And again, because all of this additional cocoa percentage that comes with its fat, because cocoa plant, those cocoa beans, they come with fat that is in natural chocolate. So if you are trying to lose weight and it's 100% chocolate, all natural, yeah, it's all good for you. It's the best health-wise thing out there. But measure your servings. Just because it's sugar-free and 100%, it doesn't mean that those calories don't count. And they accumulate. And again, the difference between that healthier chocolate bar but with fiber and healthier sweeteners, the difference between calories in that bar and my bar, 100%, it's almost doubled when it comes to calories, from 300 to 600. And another thing, even with that low-cal, quote-unquote, chocolate bar, you still want to mind those calories. Half a bar is, let's say, 150, close to that, and the whole bar is 300. It still matters. And if you're a kind of person who eat a couple of those bars, then you get 600 calories, and those accumulate. Just make sure you understand these foods that are really different depending on brand and kind and all of these things. Yeah, I mean, it also matters whether there are added sugars or weird ingredients that affect your gut microbiome and your metabolism and inflammation and hunger and appetite. All of that matters. But you also want to be aware of those simple things, like fat in your yogurt, whether that's 3 grams or 10, will make a huge difference in your calories. And that will mean either you are in like 200 calorie deficit or surplus. And that at the end of the year will mean you are either losing weight or putting on weight. So that's a tricky thing. And that's why for a lot of my also coaching clients, when they're losing body fat, I'm like, how about we do this experiment and we eliminate all the oils from your foods? We stop takeout, we stop restaurant food because they add a lot of fat and oils. We stop supermarket meals because they also add a lot of oil, and the calories on the package are usually diminished because they know with more calories they put on the label, the less people are going to buy this product. So be aware of that. So we're like, let's try to figure out maybe better meal delivery service if you don't want to cook. Let's delete all the added oils. Let's really manage our fat-rich foods like nuts and seeds. I usually recommend to go for 3-4 servings, depending 2-4 actually. For women usually it's 2, for guys it's usually 4, but that also comes with some differences. Anyhow, so for me, for example, it's 3 servings of added fat-rich foods. So and no oils when I'm trying to get leaner for a photo shoot or trying to my day like super ideal body weight. So for me, that means 1 serving is 30 grams or 1 ounce of nuts and seeds or dark chocolate. Also, for oils, if I decide to use some olive oil or coconut oil or butter, it's 1 tablespoon measured, not eyeballed, but measured. I have measuring tablespoons and I highly recommend you to get those too. So 3-4 servings and that's it. And people start losing weight and they're like, I didn't know it was that simple. And because those calories accumulate fast. And specifically, again, why I'm focusing on fat calories, not carbohydrate calories, because it's mathematics, more than double calories, and the body doesn't have to do the work to absorb those calories. And plus, the first step for my clients also wanted to share with you is to eliminate processed foods. And by processed foods, I mean anything made with sugar and flour. So that eliminates pasta and pizza and bread, those processed carbohydrates. So I'm not just about processed fats, but also processed carbohydrates. We eliminate that first, and then we go for whole food, for counting whole food fats and fats in our dairy and in healthy oils, etc. So these are just some tools that I'm using with my clients to help them to finally make the progress, because they feel like they're already doing all the work, but it's frustrating to not seeing the results. And that's where usually a lot of problems are coming from, those unaccounted healthy fats. Yeah, I mean, olive oil, amazing, a lot of antioxidants, I'm talking about good quality olive oil, vitamin E, and it's amazing. Seems to be really great for our gut and longevity of our cells, etc. But those calories still accumulate. And if you eat 1,000 calories in olive oil every single day, with like 5 spoons that you don't really measure, it's a huge difference, and then it's basically impossible for you to lose body fat. Or if you always eat a lot of nuts and seeds, they're super good for you, super amazing. But guys, if you're eating 6 measured handfuls instead of 3, that's like 500 calories surplus. So again, you're not going to be losing anything. Or if instead of 3 grams of fat yogurt, you're eating 10 grams of fat tub of yogurt, then also like very hard to make any progress with that. And that's it. So hopefully you found this episode useful. I'm also going to be doing a video for my Instagram and my YouTube channels. If you want to have more visual information, I'm going to make some videos from the store, from Waitrose, from the store where I usually shop. And so check this out, my Instagram at 1000 year young. I'm all about longevity and long-term results. So check out my channels. Share this episode with somebody who's struggling with their weight and they're like, I'm doing everything right, I'm eating healthy, I'm exercising, why am I not losing anything? So share this episode with them, because that's where the problem might be for them. Sure, let's help each other. If you have any advice that you personally related to this topic found useful, please share this with me, and I'm going to share it with listeners. So again, more people learn and solve this problem for themselves. So give me your advice. I'm going to share it for you with people to help each other. And guys, have an awesome weekend. Get a little bit more curious about those fat calories in your healthy foods if you are on a journey of losing body fat or wanting to maintain ideal body weight easier. So get curious, have an amazing, awesome weekend, and as usual, till next time, eat better daily.